Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are going to start kicking off the Ottawa exposure management capture the flag. So thank you again. My name is John Hipp. I'm a senior security engineer here at Tenable. I'm joined today by my esteemed colleagues, Mr. Blake Hudgen right here. He manages Tenable for Ottawa and Ontario, and as well by my colleague Etienne Hodder. He is a senior security engineer for Channel. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. Special thanks as well to the B-Sides organization, to JF Barrett for setting this amazing event up. Thank you so much. So to kick it off, we're going to have a short presentation here on some really hot topics when it comes to cybersecurity today. The frontier models, Mythos, what does it mean? What does it mean for organizations? What does it mean for cybersecurity in general? And then we're going to dive into exposure management. What does Tenable show our customer base when it comes to how to manage vulnerabilities, but also expand that towards the entire exposure, entire cyber risk. April 7th, 2026. Right, this was a game-changing day when Anthropic announced Mythos. Markets crumbled. If you look at the stock for all cybersecurity organizations out there, it was like the apocalypse, right? AI is taking over. Mythos found tons of vulnerabilities in the code, and everybody was just freaking out. They were not even understanding what does that mean for the landscape. Are we right now letting AI dictate what we need to patch? So Project Glasswing was an eye-opening event. For some organizations, it might have been the nightmare they always feared. But it created so much opportunity as well, because the reality is the one thing the cybersecurity landscape today needs is more focus on proactive security. Indeed, Mythos is an amazing model. It has found a lot of vulnerabilities out there. But has Mythos changed the landscape today? Not necessarily. Not in a way that we can imagine, because the model itself is heavily gated. They started with just a handful of companies. They expanded into 100+ companies out there to just gain access to the model for personal use. Anthropic doesn't allow, through their terms and conditions, any organization to use their modeling for Mythos in their product. This is huge, because you see organizations out there, cybersecurity vendors, advertising, get Mythos ready with technology built in. It is not possible. It's against Anthropic's terms of use for that particular technology. So Tenable, being at the forefront of research and development when it comes to vulnerability management, to exposure management, we joined Project Glasswing. We embraced the cutting-edge technology that our customers, those 10, 15 that joined initially, have been purview to. But we haven't really just focused on Anthropic alone, right? OpenAI is a really, really large organization out there. They have their own models. They have their own programs. And Project Daybreak is a game changer today because OpenAI, unlike Anthropic, who gives you Mythos under terms and conditions, OpenAI wants you to play with the models. They have very few guardrails of how you use the models. So Project Daybreak is indeed quite different than what Anthropic is doing with Mythos. So customers freaked out. They came and asked us, Tenable, what are you guys doing to help us? Right? Mythos is the bane of our existence now. The board is coming to us, practitioners, to the C levels and asking what our efforts, what is our strategy to address this? Well, you can't just scan with Mythos for vulnerabilities. It's not a scanning tool. Anybody knows? Can you guys from the audience raise your hand and give me just some ideas what you have heard about Mythos? What does Mythos do in a nutshell? In layman's terms. We do have prizes, so I encourage communication with all of you. It's very important, right? Not just me speaking at you. Go ahead.
That Zilla used Mythos to find vulnerabilities in Firefox.
Interesting. Mythos found an old Firefox vulnerability that lied in Mozilla for 20 years. It wasn't Mozilla. Mythos found that in their sandbox when they scanned. Funny enough, the researcher that wrote that code for Mozilla just last week, he made a paper using Opus, which is the lowest tier of Anthropic's models, with the proper guardrails, and they found the same vulnerability again, what, 4 or 5 months that Mythos found 4 months ago. So that is very low cost models now are able to properly execute what a very smart model did 4 months ago. You had your hand raised, yeah? Correct. How does Mythos find those vulnerability? What does he use?
That was built for and that made it with code. And this model can basically chain those vulnerabilities to become extremely dangerous and build sandboxes and expose huge risk to organizations.
Exactly. Exactly. So go ahead.
Can you resume it just a little bit for the profile line?
Definitely. So what he mentioned was Anthropic used Mythos first for coding, and they scanned that code for vulnerabilities, and then this is how they ended up realizing that this particular model is really good at finding these vulnerabilities, chaining them up to create an attack chain, and literally filling the homework for the people who had to patch those vulnerabilities. But keep in mind, Anthropic did it in a got gated way. It wasn't releasing the model in the wild and go have fun. It was their own sandbox in curated code alone, right? So there's no there's no tool today that can say, open press the button in Mythos or Claude, go run a scan. Mythos, it's not you said it's not vulnerability scanning tool per se. It looks at the code in itself and tries to find vulnerabilities there. Now, have you ever seen in the wild the Mythos level vulnerability? A lot of organizations are focused on getting ready for what's ahead.
Well, how do you face it?
There are many, and they will keep coming. We cannot stop them. We got to be ready to address them. But when we talk Mythos ready, Organizations who scan their code with Mythos, like Tenable is one of them, we are not sharing that data with the world yet, right? Many of these vulnerabilities, if we do find them, they may not have a patch. We don't want to share our weaknesses with threat actors, right? So that's why today you won't find on the web a vulnerability and say this was found by Mythos per se, right? We've seen the Mozilla one, but that was whatever they released at that point in time. And then once Mythos finds something, a specific finding in the code, for example, it's not necessarily an exposure. Many vulnerabilities live today in our customers' environment, right? We're never going to patch everything all the time, every time, immediately. There's a reason why we have compensating controls. So there's a vulnerability out there, but there's no exploit code available. There's no way threat actors are even trying to use it to build it in their exploit kits. Do you really need to lose sleep over it? No. So something that we noticed when we used Mythos was the fact that the results that Mythos gave to our team were non-deterministic, meaning that every time we would run a scenario, a scan against our code, we would get a fluctuation between 10 to 15%. Every scan was different by 10 to 15%. That in itself is huge. How are you going to create your own governance, risk and compliance program based on these type of fluctuations, right? Are you going to run 20 times the simulation to get 20 different results and then maybe try to do the average between them? It doesn't work like that. It's still not perfect. The results that AI gave back, and it's not just Mythos, it's different models. Tenable has used quite a lot of AI and harnesses and guardrails with different models we've been testing for years now. And we found similar results in specific use cases that we found with Mythos. So yes, source code is very important, right? Every organization out there that relies on their own proprietary technology, they need to address the code that they release, right? They need to protect that. But that doesn't mean that suddenly we're going to drop our scanning, we're going to drop our VM program, vulnerability management program, our identity management program, our entire exposure management, and let AI take over. It is not feasible. So some of the things that we noticed when we used Mythos, right? First of all, Mythos is not free. The cost of running it is pretty significant, especially because the results are non-deterministic. So you need to run multiple different scans. Every one of them costs a certain amount of tokens. And depending on how big your environment is, that token cost can go to millions and billions. But that's just a small cost if you think about it, because Mythos doesn't just run in, in code automatically. Somebody presses a button and we're good to go. You need people to really understand your environment, to understand the tool, understand how to use that tool. So in our case, and we're not one of the biggest users in the world, Tenable has a roughly 2,500 employees, more or less. We had to dedicate 10 to 15 full-time engineers in this project for months. That's a lot of resources, a lot of money that Tenable has dedicated to this project, right? So most likely, large organizations have done more because of size doesn't matter. So We did see findings from Mythos, for sure. The number of vulnerabilities Mythos found has increased for us. But many of those vulnerabilities we already knew about. It wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't Mythos finding 300 zero days and suddenly everybody had to go and start patching those holes. And as I said, Tenable's AI research has found similar results with different models, right? We've built these in the past. So we wanted to see how they fare against Mythos today. Bob Herbert, our CISO, said, it's great, we have new technology, we can use it, but they're just another arrow in the quiver. They're not replacing what we've done until now. They're not the magical solution. I'll jump faster on this use case that we've run, right? 23 researchers requested access. It's a lot of personnel working on only this product, right? So we've played with these frontier models across our cybersecurity framework, right? We've done red team offensive tooling, AI adversarial research. We've exploited. We try to reproduce specific results, reverse engineered others. Everybody's familiar with Nessus here. You guys know what Nessus is, more or less. It's our core vulnerability management scanning tool, right? So what have we found? We learned that the tool is only as good as the people behind it. It's really important to have the right people at the helm, the right practitioners, and the way they use the tool will determine the outcome. They need to understand both the tool in itself and the context where that tool is being used to get the right outcomes. So I'm not going to necessarily read everything that's on this page. You guys know how to read, but I want to touch on benchmarking first because this is really important. A lot of the research that came out and the usage that we ran with Mythos, Tenable already has today under a different shape or form around vulnerability management. It's something that we call VPR, vulnerability prioritization rating. And this is how our research team updates this rating every single day across tens of thousands of vulnerabilities and help with VPR. We actually help customers really hone in on what is the most important piece that they need to address today and the next week. Make that prioritization between 500 vulnerabilities and 20,000 that they've seen. Another thing, AI adversarial intelligence. I have a lot of people that I met earlier here. Many of you work straight up as an analyst. How many of your tools today have some sort of AI component built in it? Raise your hands, and share your experience in a few words if you are able to, right? Like EDR, for example. An analyst uses EDR. The SIM in itself, agentic AI is taking over the SIM world, right? AI is going to be here to stay. It doesn't go anywhere. We may as well embrace it and build the proper governance and the guardrails for doing it the right way without allowing threat actors to come in and hijack the entire process. So what do we see today, right? Indeed, Mythos found a lot of vulnerabilities in Mozilla. But Mozilla wasn't always the greatest tool for browsing when it comes to vulnerabilities, right? Just how many times you've seen Chrome being patched this week alone? The week just started, and this morning our organization patched Chrome probably twice, right? What Mythos opened was the door to a lot of other organizations out there using different models for different costs to find vulnerabilities. We see increases in Opus being used with the proper guardrails, the proper harnesses. A lower tier model like Opus can recreate what Mythos did 4 months ago. If Opus can do it, very low cost models from China possibly can do it as well, right? So expect a huge increase in vulnerability, that's for sure. Anybody knows what MOAK stands for? MOAK, mother of all cats. I just found it very funny. I didn't know initially, but right, we see quite a lot of these new vulnerabilities in this 500, top 500 tracker being exploited by AI. And that caused a lot of companies to pause or to straight up cancel their bug bounty program, both because of false positives, where you see everybody submitting wrong data and literally overloading the program, or because of cost. So organizations today really need to rethink the way they run their bug bounty programs. Just because AI is in there and it's helping both to secure it faster, find those vulnerabilities faster, but also create a lot of false positives. So from a cybersecurity perspective, what we see is a huge increase in vulnerabilities. The projection is as well that this is not going to stop. The next 18 months will be pivotal to where are we heading from a cybersecurity perspective when it comes to prevention. Now, Mythos and AI as it is today, it's not a full-blown turnkey solution. Buy from us and you'll be safe, right? There's still a lot of work to. We see large fluctuation in results, right? For example, if you don't use the proper harnesses for these models, they can go off rail. They can create such a huge discrepancy in results that you may run a simulation 50 times and get massive 30 to 50% different results. At which point you really need to hone into what is the outcome that you're looking for every single experience, right? Human validation is still mandatory. Yes, AI is great and it's going to be here to stay, but without the proper people behind it, without having the right talent to understand the results, to adjust, AI is going to break more than it's going to make. And as much as large organizations, many CEOs say that it's going to be a huge impact on the workforce, and perhaps in some industries it will be, and AI will take some jobs. When it comes to cybersecurity, AI is not going to replace people. It's not going to replace the current programs that organizations already have in place, right? It's not going to come in and say, forget your SIM, forget your SOC, forget your NOC, we'll take over, we'll put agents everywhere, and Claude will address every single incident. So from a projection perspective, we expect a big increase in vulnerabilities. We've already had a huge one since last year. Last year, anybody has an idea of how many vulnerabilities, let's say high and critical, we had in 2025? Throw a number out there. Any other takers? Is far away.
70,000. 30? 7 million?
No. In 2025, we had over 50,000 vulnerabilities. This year alone, we're getting close to 70,000, as you mentioned. It's not stopping, it's growing exponentially. But that's going to level. We expect after 18 months, AI becomes better, maybe patching becomes miraculously well done, and then the number will go down. In 2018, the time from when a vulnerability was out until somebody found a really good way to exploit it and documented that journey, 63 days. That evolved, right? COVID came. Guess what? People had more time indoors in front of the computer. 32 days. They added AI. In 2024, it got to 5 days because threat actors managed to get proper offensive tools, cheap and easy to get offensive tools, and run mass scans across large networks. And then you saw this new service called exploitation as a service, right? Initial access brokers have huge marketplaces on the dark web where your job as a hashtag hacker is to go in, scan, find a vulnerability, get in, get some sort of access, and sell that access, right? You land, you don't expand too much because you don't want to get caught. You sell that access to whomever wants to take it from there. You go to your next, right? Low hanging fruit is one of the biggest businesses right now for threat actors. But today, it takes hours with the right AI tools in place, with autonomous exploitation. From the moment you find a vulnerability to the moment some specific AI program with the right people behind it can find a way to exploit it, document it, and build into a kit can take hours. That is scary. Because organizations out there, they need months, sometimes years to push a proper AI program when it comes to cybersecurity, to get the right guardrails in place, to enforce governance, risk, compliance around AI. It does not happen overnight. That is why you cannot have people manually fight threat actors that use offensive tools. It takes too long. If you had SOC experience, you know, just finding the right artifacts, validating what the tool gives you, cross-referencing, that takes time. Time that in a real scenario where the attacker is in your environment, you don't have that time. You just give them more time for them to win. So definitely agentic AI will be present across the SOC. And the organizations who say, I'm not going to let AI dictate what happens in my SOC, they'll eventually vanish because they cannot keep up. They'll have breach after breach and you cannot address it. But the goal is not to bring the smartest tools to react fast enough to what threat actors is doing, because they only need to be right once and you need to protect 100% of the time every time, which is a very difficult mission. It's just not a fair game. So organizations really need to focus on prioritization. How we can look at our cyber risk and understand these are my crown jewels, these are my assets who are exposed to the internet, and if I'm a threat actor and I want to go and get to those crown jewels, what are the paths that I can take in my organization at any point in time to get there? Identify those attack paths, understand where those choke points are in your organization from a risk perspective, again, because you have limited resources, time, and employees, and then focus your efforts on those to mitigate risk. So frontier models do great. Definitely, we subscribe to them. We pay big bucks to have access to them right away. We use them everywhere we can, both internally to secure our organization, because Tenable is the largest exposure management vendor on the planet. You may not know, but we have over 40,000 global customers. 65% of Fortune 500 companies use Tenable in their environment for vulnerability management, for exposure management, for cloud security, etc. So that gives us that unique position to really understand where the industry is heading. And exposure management is the only way that works from our perspective to address this tsunami of vulnerabilities. You have to be prepared. You cannot hope that you're going to be on the receiving end right when it happens. So there are three key things that when we work with customers, we hone on, right? You have to bring machine speed within your tools to address attacks that come at machine speed towards you. And the first step is visibility. Not knowing your assets, allowing shadow AI, shadow assets lying on your network can lead to disaster overnight. So complete visibility is key, both from an asset perspective as well as from a weakness and vulnerability perspective, both internal as well as external, in the cloud, on-prem, any environment. Managing that attack surface is key and is the first step towards creating a proper exposure management program. But without insight, that's just data. And data is growing. It's really hard for any organization to just keep track of how much data they have and where it is. So Tenable brings that insight in one platform. We call it Tenable One. You guys are going to get access to that platform today, hands-on experience with it, right? You will see how we track assets across a variety of environments, how we look at different types of risks and vulnerabilities, and how we grade them based on criticality as well as based on where they lie within your environment, because a file server is not as is does not have the same importance as somebody's laptop that works remotely. And then finally, it's all about action. What are you doing with all that data? How fast can you react? How fast can you scan? What's the time between scanning, finding vulnerability, and patching? How about you've done the patching? Great. Who's doing the validation on that? And patching in itself is it's an art. It's really not something that you just press a button and it runs automatically and everything is great. So how do we do it, right? Tenable one, we bring the data together first. Not only we have our own sensors, right, in the cloud, hooked up to the LLMs, we look at applications, we look at our attack surface. Doesn't matter if it's an operational technology environment or if it's IoT, if it's identity, we'll take that data from your entire footprint, all the assets, and we corroborate that data with third-party data. We have integration because customers, they don't have only one vendor in their environment. They have a technology stack when it comes to cybersecurity. And today, all those tools produce valuable insight, more or less, and they want that insight. They already paid for it. Makes sense for those customers to have that insight, and we allow them to bring that into our data fabric, right? We apply threat intelligence again because context is key. Without context, an asset is just another random asset. We don't understand the relationship between that asset and all the assets around it, all the applications, all the access on those applications, and how it allows a threat actor to utilize that access within an attack. And once we do that, we analyze the data, we correlate it, we enrich it with our threat intelligence. We understand and we verify, is this vulnerability exploitable? Because not all vulnerabilities have a proven exploit kit. Not all vulnerabilities are used in attacks. Just as a question to the public, in the last year, how many vulnerabilities do you guys think were used in most attacks that were reported by Chubbs? Chubbs is a large cyber insurance company. They know because customers get compromised, they knock at Chubb's door, they need to fill in the, the documentation to get cyber insurance. Last year alone, give me a number of vulnerabilities that you think were used in most cyber attacks that have been published. Center one. No, just a number. How many vulnerabilities?
20.
Typical breach, how many vulnerabilities?
How many vulnerabilities we've noticed being used and reused over and over again in the attacks that already happened? 85. 85 vulnerabilities were used in over 92% of breaches. None of them were 0 days. None. Right? Because a 0 day is very expensive. The cost of a 0 day on Windows can reach $30 million on the black market. On iOS, probably more. So it's all about going back to the basics. Threat actors are using what's out there, and what they see is still that God forgotten, old forgotten 14 vulnerabilities that's out there for 3 years. Now, what Tenable does here is we bring an agentic layer to really help customers accelerate this process. From the moment they need to run a scan, tag assets, understand context, create actions within the platform, and shorten that time from detection to remediation and validation, the entire cycle. So Hexa AI is our agentic layer. We talked about it a couple of months ago. Customers embraced it. They love it. It's just a game changer today for Tenable customers. We will use it in creating new workflows for different use cases. We can use it for remediation. Literally, with an MCP server, you can connect Tenable tools to Hexa, and Hexa can actually run a patch cycle for you. which is huge, right? You just put in a prompt for specific assets and it can be done. We use it for orchestration as well as validation. Customers need to understand that if they patch 500 vulnerabilities past weekend, they're all patched. We scan and we make sure that they're not there anymore. And that creates the outcomes that the customers really need to successfully run an exposure management program. They need to have that visibility, understand the risk through attack path analysis. They need to have proper tools to both prioritize when it comes to the number of vulnerabilities they have, and we help them with BPR, with asset criticality rating, but also to start thinking differently when it comes to patching, because the more vulnerabilities are out there on your list to address, the more you have to diversify the way you look at patching. Some organizations started automate as much as they could, whatever they could from patching, right? So browser patching, for example, it can be done daily. It can be automated. It's not a large impact on the organization. Every different organization have their own patching strategy, and Tenable helps them get where they need to be. These are the three things that Hexa does best. We have a cookbook. It's amazing. Customers use it for a variety of things. It's out of the box. You will have access to Hexa today within the platform. Use it, test it, see how it helps you get the answer to a flag, for example. Maybe cheating in specific flags because you think, okay, well, the AI, if I input the right prompt and I understand the use case and I select it, you just give me the result and boom, I got a flag. You still have to do the work, right? It's not just copy the flag, drop it in Hexa, and hopefully you get a right answer. And I just want to close with this because, 1 year ago when I joined Tenable, I never realized what an amazing company I joined. I never realized the amount of people working in research and development, the amount of talent out there. And last year, we ran tons of tests. Anybody knows how Gartner, Forrester, and how they come up with the magic quadrants? Anybody can maybe give us a high level?
Whoever can pay top dollar.
Payment is always there. It's not pro bono. They're a business for sure, and to be assessed, you will need to pay, as you said, top dollar. But other than that, it's a long process. It's a document process. They literally look at your tools, compare them with other tools, and based on their results, the analysts talk to customers as well. And then they bring their findings and they create these magic quadrants. Tenable was 3 out of 3 last year, which is unprecedented in our industry. All right, so I'm going to pass it to my colleague here to walk you through the next couple of slides, because this is really important. What is in it for you? Other than the amazing pizza, I was so surprised. This pizza is one of the best I've had in our life. Kudos to the organizers. I'll dream about this pizza for the next 8 months for sure.
I can just remove the screen from there.
Yeah, I don't know what just let me know if the mic's good.
Mic's good.
Cool, thanks, John. Appreciate it. Did we give him a round of applause already? Yeah, here we go. Cool, get your laptops out. Who's logged in with the first screen that we had earlier for your CTF? You had a first screen earlier, gave you some credentials, you have a piece of paper. How about this? Who doesn't have a piece of paper that has credentials on it? Raise your hand. Cool. Can I get my friendly helpers to bring over some creds? They're all sitting on the table there. So raise your hand if you don't have a small piece of paper. Put them high so we can see you. We'll give you credentials so that you can log in. So open up your laptops, get those up, and then in like 1 or 2 slides from now, I'll show those credentials again so you can get started. The CTFs won't start until we're all ready to go. If anybody has their hands up, we'll give you a few more seconds. We'll try to be as efficient as we can. But all right, cool. So as John mentioned, I'm from Waterloo. Happy to be here. I was initially born in Laval, so this is pretty close. Happy to be here. Happy to support the team. My good friend Steve Bowers is in the house. Give me a big round of applause. Woo! Yeah. I know he's a friendly face at B-side, so Steve and I actually worked together for a very short window. Cool. So we're here for a CTF. Let's get started with the CTF. What's in it for you? This is something that we've run for the last 3 years across different customers. The content has changed. The format has been optimized, modified. So this is something you've seen from, if you've worked with anybody on the team at Tenable, you may have seen already a variation of that. But today, this is a version that we've customized for the team. So hopefully this works out for everybody. So, yes, please. Sure. Don't move too much. I can stay right here, but I like moving on the stage to get everybody taking a breath. Okay, cool. So I want to make sure we're all clear on what we're presenting, what we're going to walk through, what's in it for you. So if you've never had access to the Tenable platform, so maybe raise your hand real quick. Who has not had access to anything from Tenable, including Nessus? How about that? Okay, actually, forget about Nessus. Anything on the platform, SaaS base. Yeah, awesome, cool. You'll get access to data Tenable 1, the agentic layer that John mentioned, hint, hint, it is in the platform. Use it as you wish. So if you have not had access, great, you'll learn something new hopefully today. If you have had access, not everybody rose their hands, so this is great. You'll be able to sharpen your skills. Maybe you're not too familiar in the field why exposure management is a tool that people use to solve CTEM as a program, so you'll have access to it. And the third piece is for anybody in the room, maybe like Steve, who are quite familiar with the platform, who are helping others learn how to use the platform. You'll have, the ability to challenge yourself. Everybody will have access to the flags. That just mean if you're taking your time, that's okay. You already have some swag everywhere. We do have some prices. Yeah, let's get started here. So, besides CTFs, we're all familiar with these. I want to make sure we're clear on what we're running today. It is a guided Jeopardy style, meaning that there is a guide available to you. Now, we talked earlier. What we're going to do is we're going to lock out the guide for the first 45 minutes. And so it'll be a little harder, and then you'll have a live guide after that, where if you're frustrated, you feel like something's not working, at the 45-minute mark, you'll be able to navigate through some of those questions yourself, step by step. It'll make it easier to navigate through that. So this is tailored for Jeopardy style, meaning it's not offensive. What we're doing is you have a few questions, navigate through the platform to address, to find out where you can find the answer. These are all real scenarios that our customers experience, that individuals in the field, security experts use this tool for. This is a good insight as well, a tool and what it can provide as support. So for today, this is what I shared earlier. If you did not see it, please take a look. The live guide is what we'll share after, so we'll take care of that. Right now, you need to focus on this piece here. So log in to tenable.ctfe.io. And I should probably actually, this is the part where I should stop sharing this slide. Yeah, you're good? All right, cool.
I just want to make sure if you say the name.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Nobody say the password we get to. Okay, who has not logged in here? Who has not created an account here? Cool. So get started on that. Your peers have access. Somebody wants to take a picture, they can give it to you. Your paper, who has not had a paper? Everybody has a paper? Awesome. Your piece of paper, this is for to log into cloud.tenable.com. This is a demo environment, but it is what our highest customers are using. This is Tenable 1 Advanced. The agentic layer, again, hint, hint, is in the platform. Use those credentials. Is anybody's credentials not working? All right. We have extra pieces that have maybe different codes. Is it like an I or an L or an O and you didn't know what it was? So how about, could we grab some of these extra credentials, Steve, and pass those around? All right, keep your hand up for whose credentials are not working. Cool. Actually, put your hand up for a second. Whose credentials did work? John, how did that go? Okay, we'll revisit that in a second. Maybe we'll have to huddle to figure out how we get those creds back. But so nobody's creds from this piece of paper worked. Okay, let me look at one of these pieces of paper. That's the correct format. All right. Okay, we'll put some funky music for a second, and then we'll have to figure that piece out. And then, yeah, in a second, I'll unlock the first challenge, but without the credentials, we'll just give it a second. So, all right, hang tight. I think so, if no one's quiz are working. Let me test out a couple here.
Never happens.
So you grabbed credentials that were in here. You grabbed those student creds. So let me just grab some random ones. You gave them the username, password. So I'll grab one of these. I'll just put it in here, just double check. Okay. All right, this is great. And then let me double check the lab environment to see if they're not online. Yeah, you gotta do some dancing. Oh man, that's annoying. Let's grab one of these random. Huh? The problem with these creds too is that
maybe you guys can give me some insights, because you're all security people, security. How do you today use AI to build your skills for the job of tomorrow? So the question is, AI is there. We use it. My wife uses it. The kids use it to create images. It's fun, right? They make their own cartoons. But from a practitioner's point of view, what would you recommend everybody else, and what do you do today to hone your skills around AI? Because 2028 may have different requirements when it comes to cybersecurity, right? So how do you envision that journey, and what do you think is like the one thing that's critical to do in cybersecurity when it comes to AI?
I think it would be to verify. Oh, okay. I think it would be to like verify. So, for example, one of the hack the box CTFs, I tried a cryptography challenge, and one of the crypto challenges was regarding a cipher that I had no idea about. So I decided to try and ask AI what I'm looking at rather than asking it to solve it for me. And then after that, I would do my own research on Google to be able to actually know what that is. So from that alone, I learned what grid ciphers are, and then I was able to understand what I was looking at from there. Because the AI is also learning with you. The AI isn't all knowing. So being able to verify and check your stuff is going to be another way how you can learn with AI. So it also kind of brings into another point where it's like AI cannot replace Google. Google is just also something that you would need to use, even though you would integrate AI into Google. Because there is also the big thing in the corner that says AI may make mistakes when you type in something on Google.
Awesome, thank you.
From my point of view, the future is who designs or builds agents that can do what you want. In now we have access to LLMs, we have access to Claude, we have access to Chinese models. The big thing is we used to have a very skilled hackers before. Some of us here maybe, but the future will be anybody who wants to be successful is to build and design and build a system that can do the work for you. You have been working on labs, you have been working on clients, you have been finding vulnerabilities, you have been using EDR to look for logs, some things that are different from the normal. Out of the box, Claude, these Chinese models can find some vulnerabilities. They can find uh, attackers or agents that are inside your systems. But the big differentiator is going to be to use your experience, your nodes, and teach it to an agent. Design that agent to work for you while you are asleep if you are a hacker, or to design and build a system, if you're a defender, that finds and looks for malware inside your institution. I think that's where the future is headed.
Awesome, thank you. That was a great answer. Anybody else? How do you improve your skills for the job of tomorrow, guys? How do you use AI? What do you think others should know about it? What have you found that's really useful that maybe surprised you?
Did you have one?
I work in incident response, and one of the things myself and my team has kind of like enjoyed using AI for is static analysis of malware. Because I'll give an example. There was a single file malware based on the appearance, but when we used AI to do static analysis of that file, it was kind of like a system embedded within a system, just a single file. And we're able to get that information in minutes using AI. So imagine having to do that manually. It would have taken days, if not weeks, to analyze, like statically analyze 5,000 plus lines of code. So that's an example of where AI plays a good role and can help you like sharpen your skills because it gives you the time to deal with other things like just using that you can get TTPs, you can get you can just map the attack technique that and you know what you're looking for. You can extract IOCs and stuff. And that can be done within minutes compared to doing that manually. So that's an example of like where AI has been fantastic.
Awesome, thank you. All right, from a training perspective, who has done the free Anthropic AI, that training that they released for Claude? Anybody has walked through that? It is free, they give it away. If you want to use Claude, they give a full-blown training out there. I highly suggest you go and do that until they put a price on it. For now, it's just a great way to really understand just their tool alone, but also how it integrates with different other systems through MCP, through Cloud Code, and so on. All right. Now, last questions before my colleagues are coming back here. When we're talking about the future of vulnerability management and exposure management, how many of you have had the experience to deal with, let's say, addressing a vulnerability, running a security tool to scan whether that vulnerability may be in code of an application, on a OS, even at home, just straight up scanning your network, patching your browser, and so on?
I've had some experience with that at work.
So they cannot hear you.
Okay, so I've had some experience. I worked briefly on a vulnerability assessment team in a government department. We ran Tenable on-prem, and the team is finding lots of vulnerabilities. I'm not on the team any longer, but yeah, we're getting them addressed, the challenge, reporting them effectively, and getting them addressed is the challenge.
Thank you. Indeed. What's this on? All right.
Yeah, so I don't run the nested scans, but I see the effects of them. So whenever there is a patching window, I see a lot of offenses or alerts coming in from those systems, alerting me on some suspicious activity. But that's actually our people who are responsible for patching. They're doing their work. So that's the side of what I see at work. But also, regarding vulnerability. Like I have my own home lab, and I have Wazoo over there, and it has like a built-in vulnerability scanner. I'm not sure what's like exactly under the hood, but I also see those vulnerabilities, criticals. I try to patch them myself, so that's how I deal with vulnerabilities.
Awesome. Thank you again. All right, anybody else wants to have a last one of how they they've seen vulnerabilities in their organizations and how they've addressed them.
Cool.
So you can put that on.
Okay,
It's going to be a
just
hot
like-
mic. That's a YouTube mic.
Right here's fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I can't swear? Let me know when we're good. We're good?
Not streaming the screen anymore.
Oh, not streaming? Just
The screen is not there anymore. Are you taking this in the house of like the
yeah. Or the dark mode, tenable, one or the other. Yeah.
This guy.
Oh, okay.
Good. Make sure you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. All right. Make it a little bit bigger. Can everyone hear me in the room? Do I have to actually?
You're not coming in over the.
It's okay. It's on now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me from here? No way.
Hold on. There is a mic holder there.
Sweet. In case I have to type, I don't want to put the mic down. How's this go in? Is that better? Can everyone still hear me? Sweet. Okay. So gonna walk through a couple of things within the Tenable platform that I, as a security operator, find interesting. I know there's not a lot of people who have used the Tenable platform here, right? But a good amount of people have seen Nessus, I'm assuming. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to jump right into vulnerability intelligence. Basically, Tenable operates using Nessus, right? So you either have a Nessus scanner or a Nessus agent that you put on your endpoints. On a regular basis, you'll do your scanning. In my perfect world, it's like weekly, but it could be monthly or quarterly or never. And ultimately, you just get this huge compilation of findings, right? So whether it's a plugin name, whether it's CVE, etc. And for a long time, that was kind of what you used. You would filter down through your, I don't know, your findings, your vulnerabilities, whatever you want to call them, and then you would just try and kind of work with what you had. And so I've, recently talked to some people who are doing a lot of manual work to understand what the security landscape looks like, and then correlate that with what they've already found with vulnerabilities. And what Tenable released, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, is vulnerability intelligence. Maybe a year ago, I don't know. Time is not one of the constructs I'm familiar with. So anyways, let's say, for example, you're looking at your newsfeed and you're like, oh, I wonder if this is impacting my organization. Well, the good thing is Tenable is actually doing that too. And they've created a little category called. So here I can click on 31 CVEs that are currently in the news, and that's based off of Tenable research. That's all well and good to see that here are these findings, but then we also have the whole, how does this affect me, which is important, right? So now we can look at how many findings do we actually have that are in the news, right? And then which assets are impacted. And the importance of this is that now we're not digging down and creating a bunch of filters to try and understand what things look like. It's all built into the vulnerability intelligence piece. To take it a step further, I could say, okay, cool, I see that these assets are in play. It's impacted by X number of CVEs. What does this CVE do and why does it matter to me? So if I click on one, I can dive down and do a bit of research. And the cool thing is, if I found a CVE that just came into my news feed, I can actually search for it here. Once I've discovered this news feed, I can dig in. So I'm kind of doing my research, my vulnerability research in this spot, and I don't have to Google a bunch of
CVE or vulnerability information because it's all kind of here. This wasn't, okay, here we go. Wasn't necessarily the best vulnerability to pick because there's not a whole lot of information about it. But I can see here when vulnerability changed DPR score. So the intensity of the last 30 days. A lot of information about it. But what I really wanted to show was, let's go to recently exploited. And we'll pick just 2021. We'll try 2026. Here I am gambling and losing. All right, hold on. One more try. 3 strikes. Let's try my findings. Try this 2021. There's a lot more timeline. So we go back in the timeline, right? And a lot of what we do. So who here is like a security analyst that's eyes on glass, hands on keyboard, and does a lot of research on a day-to-day basis? Okay. You have been that person? Okay. And on a regular basis, were you searching like Hacker News, Dark Reading, Twitter, Ars Technica? Yep. Reading Computer? Yep. So like your reading list is essentially huge, right? Even if you're using an RSS or something like that to aggregate, you still have a lot of information you have to go through. So one of the cool things about this timeline is over time, and again, this is from 2021, so we can see when it was declared, the discovery date, first functional exploit, first proof of concept. So I can click on that link, and it will show me, here's the GitHub for that proof of concept, right? So as I'm going through here, all my research is essentially documented for me, right? So over time, I can see this is from 2021, HomeKit. So it's like, okay, well, what does that mean now, right? Let's go back to 2026. So there's a mention in hackernews.com. So I can go here. Oh, okay. So maybe this is something I do need to look at. Because initially it's from 2021. You might be thinking, okay, no big deal. It's old. We should probably patch it. But there hasn't really been any exploitation. And now we're seeing it again. Right? So this is one of those vulnerabilities that's like reincarnated, let's say. So from an operations perspective, I have limited a lot of the operational work or a lot of the legwork in building that intelligence around a given vulnerability, right? And then once I go down here and I look at my affected assets, I can then see where my critical assets lie, right? So understanding that a vulnerability exists, understanding that a vulnerability is critical if it gets exploited, well, that's all great, right? But what if you don't care about the assets? What if it's probably not going to happen to this asset because there's no internet connectivity, or it's in a lab, or et cetera, et cetera. Granted, being in a lab or not being in production does not mean that it's not going to cause impact, but let's just say for a second that it does. This asset criticality rating tells us whether or not we care about this asset, whether or not this asset is important to our organization. And it's one of those things where it's auto-generated, but it's also configurable. So once I've gone through and I've done my vulnerability research, I can figure out where does this impact me and how much does this impact me? Because these sites here, or these posts here, maybe they can wait till next month, or maybe these top 3, because their criticality rating is a little bit higher, maybe we want to focus a little bit on those and make those part of the next patch, right? Any questions on this? Is everyone kind of tracking with the, like how, from a security operations perspective, this all works into one workflow from a remediation perspective? Because ultimately we're trying to get from, identifying what the threat actually is or what the vulnerability exposure is, and then building up to how do we remediate, why do we remediate, do we remediate? Because anyone here into GRC, governance, risk, compliance? Casey, you are, right? Yep. So governance, risk, compliance, that's essentially, you take your threats, you take your vulnerabilities, and you say, what does it mean to me? So what's the probability that someone's going to actually use this to do harm to my organization, and what would the impact be, right? That's a very distilled version of risk. And then you say, well, what am I going to do with that risk? So am I going to actually patch this? Am I going to shut that system off because you don't need it anymore? Are we going to make it someone else's problem and make someone else manage the box? Or are we going to just accept it? Say it's okay, don't worry about it. And that's, the operations piece gets you the information you need to make the decisions from a risk perspective, from a governance perspective. So does everyone see how that's kind of like technically a flow? Right on. How are we doing on the just for him or for me?
No.
Okay. Cool. Oh yeah, sorry, dark web. All right. So essentially, that's a big piece of the vulnerabilities in a nutshell, and understanding how those vulnerabilities might actually impact you. Another one of my favorite parts of this platform is the attack surface management. So has anyone here ever used Shodan before? Okay. So I don't know. Okay, we have a couple things configured here. I'm going to add. Oh, yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so VPR is the vulnerability priority rating. And it basically takes into account, so it does use CVSS a little bit, but there are various elements gathered from actual security research, from threat intelligence, from actually running exploits, and it's you're looking at like your attack intensity. So how often is someone trying to exploit this vulnerability? You're looking at how widespread. So like your blast radius. Like is it every single Cisco switch or every single Windows box, or is it your Sun Spark system that you have tucked away in the closet, right? So based off of how big could the impact be, how frequently are people trying to exploit the vulnerability, and like are we seeing it in the wild? So from like exploit code, all that kind of stuff. That's what drives VPR, and that is reevaluated roughly on a daily basis. And so like in that vulnerability timeline I was showing, it will show the changes in the VPR, and that's based off of like someone released new exploit code. Oh, VPR is going to go up a little bit because now someone can actually get at that box. And then you temper that with your asset criticality rating, or with some of your third-party data to actually understand, is this box externally accessible? Because if someone can't get to the box from the internet, then the inherent risk goes down a little bit, but the criticality of the vulnerability stays high. So you have to work on what the actual exposure score is for that asset, and that's how it's derived. Does that make sense? Cool. So there's a lot to it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm a former Tenable employee. Just that's why I know some of this stuff. So back in the day, they used like Recorded Future for threat intelligence. They had, or they still have, like a team of people who exploit vulnerabilities or try to exploit them to see if like exploit code actually works. They'll search GitHub. They'll search social media. So like, I'm not sure if anyone's done a lot of threat intel here, but one of the best sources I found was Twitter. If I found an IP address or an executable name, I would throw it in Twitter, and it would generally have a tweet that would say, "This is the latest ransomware," or "Found these command and control servers," et cetera, et cetera. So that's actually, I can talk about it or I can show you. Because it will show you what the sources are, which is pretty cool. And it can explain, I'll explain it to you with an actual example. So let's just, so this one's 9.7. Let's have a look. And so the information, so you can see here some of the information, exploitability ease, exploits are available, core impact is actually exploiting it. You can see here it's exploited by malware, remotely exploitable, low complexity. So some of that stuff is also in CVSS, but it goes a little bit more in depth here with the VPR key drivers. So the CVE, blah, 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 exploit probability, driver in the news very low. So again, that's more of like a monitoring the intel. No recorded events in the news recently. VPR key driver malware 0 to 7 days. And then targeted industries, targeted regions. So it gives you a lot of information around, kind of, it tells you what they've been looking at, right? So it doesn't just say, oh, we just know this. It says, we're not seeing a lot of impact. We're not seeing a lot of high intensity threats. And then if I click on even just this plugin, it will tell me what it's actually looking for. So there's like a ton of openly available information about the plugins, about the attacks, everything. So,
The phone is disappointed in you.
Is it working?
Oh, it's working. It was
Okay.
just pointing at your keyboard.
It likes the key clacks. So is that too much information, or is that okay? Okay, cool. Yeah. So one of the other pieces is this attack surface management, and here, I don't know if I have access to it, but I want to add a domain. Okay, anyways, there's some assets here. So I'll just look at like this WM cloud. Essentially what this does is it's kind of a background process that's constantly scanning the internet for open ports, like comparing it for CVEs. It'll get like certificate status. I know, with all the PQC and all that kind of stuff, we're really monitoring how old our certs are, when they're going to expire. Show me some assets. Oh, okay. And then here you would see assets. Let me try this in the new view. No data was found. Okay. Very good. Yeah, it's not showing me anything. It says there are assets there, but it's not showing me anything. We can't win them all. And there are no filters. Let me see if expired. Maybe filtering it will do something. All right. Anyways, without showing you, I guess, the meat and potatoes, I will just talk about it a little bit. Essentially, it passively gathers a whole lot of information about sites on the internet. And from that, you can look at whether or not there's so if you find a web app firewall, so it could be detecting Cloudflare, could be maybe it finds an F5 or Radware or something. Look at the SSL TLS certs. It's not letting me scroll. There we go. Oh, it's the backward scroll. That's why. There's like, did it find any secret keys, any hashes? There's like a lot that you can find. So one of the really cool things that I've picked up with this application in the real world is one of the things I do for a living is resilience assessments. So what does your environment look like? How are you protecting it? What would happen if something went wrong? Can you actually pull out of it, or are you doomed to wait, that 6 months to actually try and recover? From here, I was able to find a few domains that were there's a subdomain takeover. Anyone familiar with subdomain takeover or have done one before? It's illegal, so hopefully you haven't done them. Okay. Yeah, so I found one of my clients had like a Indonesian manga kind of site. It was just really weird. They were a company from BC that did not deal in manga. And then we were doing some work for a bank, and we saw very unbankly websites. So I didn't show them. I showed them a bit of a thumbnail, but I couldn't show them the actual page that popped up. And it was funny because in the pitch we were like, "Hey, so I kind of saw this while I was going through your information," and they were like, "Ah, we have to go." So I helped them kick off their IR. Let me see if there's anything archived. Oh, it's because they're all archived. So these are the assets you would see. Let's go back. Let me see if I can. No, it's not. All right. Go back to the old way, because I might be able to show these if I can. Do not modify this inventory. Okay. So this is more like it. Basically, you get your entry. So it's like essentially it's just using DNS. But then DNS is for discovery, and then it does some searching and will compare what it finds with like NVD to see if you have any CVEs, for instance. And as you can see here, there's a little a thumbnail. This is where I couldn't actually scroll over this for one of my clients because it was a very crude website, let's say. So we can see here, which ports are open, and let's see if I wanted to. Let's just see if expires in, say, 30 days. So from the get-go, if I'm doing just like a discovery assessment and this is an engagement, I can say, oh, at least I can contact Wikimedia and say, you have a lot of certs that are expiring in 30 days. What's your strategy? Right? And then they say, we don't have a strategy. And I say, well, let me write you one. So this is me being selfish using this as a sales tool. But ultimately, everyone has, like, if you have a cyber program and you focus so much on the internal, right? Like you focus on your SIM, right? And your endpoints and your network, and you're doing all these scans. How many people in here work in like a monitoring capacity? Okay. How many people monitor the external kind of what could happen to us, your external attack surface? What do you use for that right now? Oh, okay. Yeah. So they have like the AST and stuff like that. Yeah. Expanse. Right. Okay. So good that there's something in place because it's like I deal with a decent amount of organizations where they're not actually looking at what's happening on the outside, right? And like even if you're a low-level analyst and your organization does not provide any sort of tooling like this, you can use Sharpest. You can use anyone here ever heard of Kali Linux? Hands, finally. Okay. So in Kali, has anyone ever tried using like the Harvester or Spiderfoot? Okay. And a lot easier to use. Yep. Yeah, with like the Harvester or either of them, you have to have a lot of API keys. You have to sign up for a lot of different services and let it crawl and then pull all that information in. So yeah, Shodan is a lot easier to use. Shodan will show you. There's a webcam open that will show you those, and you can click on it, stuff like that. So for sure. What do you do?
Oh, I'm just, I, briefing.
Okay, cool. Looking for work? So if anybody's hiring, what's your name? Drew is looking for a job. So you're familiar at least with like the external attack surface piece. How would you leverage something like this if you were tapped to, manage someone's attack? If you were, someone says, "Hey, we just want to know where we stand. How can we?"
I would find them all the critical ones and say, the attack is not already attacked.
Okay, it's a good sport. That's a good start. The next part is convincing them that that's true. But that's good. Okay. And is that something you're looking to sort of kind of derail where I am to actually, and not to put you on the spot, Drew, but are you looking to be kind of on the offensive side or on the defensive side? Okay. Okay. So for everyone hiring. Okay. So any questions about this piece? What kind of information we might be looking at? Um, I'll dig in a little bit on one of these to show you. Again, there's like a timeline as to when it was added. You can dig in. There's IP addressing, DNS record type, all that kind of stuff. What kind of services were detected? Certificate information, where you might find it, what we get when we try to hit it with HTTP, and then the website, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't have any CVEs allocated to it, but it will show you CVEs. And then one of the things you can do with each of these is I could click on it, and then I can, in a world where I had access, I could scan it with the vulnerabilities. So it would be like using Shodan and saying, okay, I know this IP address is something that we need to really look at. Well, I can send it off in a spreadsheet to someone who could do a scan, or preferably have like an API script where I would just kick off the scan with whatever scanner it is I'm using. Okay, how are we doing over here? Does anyone have any questions or any like operational scenarios they've been through that they might want to take a look at? Could be tenable, could be non-tenable. I've done a few things in the past 20 years. Yep.
I have missed it, but is there like tagging capabilities that use
No. One of the things you can do with Tenable is when you do like a vulnerability scan, you can export the .nessus file and import it into Metasploit, and then you can run your attack based off of that. Nessus does have some switches that are like enable risky activities. They're not quite exploitation, but it will tell you if something's exploitable, and you can always pull that .nessus file and then push it. But yeah, it's a highly defensive tool. Any other questions? Anyone have stories? Yeah, another question? Yep.
isolation. How would it be different from Shodan?
It's really kind of more targeted. It may or may not, like it depends on what you're using it for, right? Like you won't click a button and see the video on a webcam or something using this. But for me, just being able to, it's, I want to say it's a little cleaner. Like for me with Shodan, I usually use it through command line anyway. But I try and stay to the API side of things. But for this, you build a really good inventory. So it's kind of the same, but it's a little more neat, I think. Like it's a little more production ready, quote unquote. Because you can just export, like I can just select all these, export to CSV, and then that's gone, right? So that's where it's a little more production ready. But yeah, just trying to compare the two. It's generally a lot better when you use Nessus with it, or when you use like the vulnerability management with it, because then you can just check a box, getting the asset, and then it like, brings it under management, so to speak. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Because with Shodan, like you have to do a little bit of Python wizardry to get it to integrate, but then you really have to make sure that on the other end they're willing to integrate with it. Whereas with this, it just becomes part of your assets, and then you can take that and you can ship it where you need. Cool. Anyone else? Instead of tutorial, do we want to talk about stories, maybe lessons learned? Anybody got any? Or I can show off another feature. Okay, I'll share one from a lot earlier in my career, before a lot of tooling was available. Everyone here is familiar with Splunk? So 14 years ago, I guess, I was a security engineer, and I was in a data center in California. And my goal was go in, look at all the firewalls we had. We had like 13 or 15 firewalls, and I had to knock it down to 6. We were moving from Cisco to Palo Alto. And I'm sitting there, and I'm in my chair, and I'm like typing up a document, doing Visio, whatever, and then I get a phone call. And I have my boss's badge, because my badge wouldn't work, because I'm obviously not from California. And he calls me, he's like, "Steve, what'd you do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, like, we're down right now. And I was like, okay. So I go let him in, and he's like, "Did you kick a cable? Did you?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, I was just in here doing this, taking out servers and cables." But immediately we got to work. Someone brought in like a crash cart. So there were 2 laptops, and my boss was like hacking away, looking at router configs, firewall configs. I was sitting on Splunk, and I was like, let's just see who our top talkers are. And we had 4 IP addresses from Vietnam that were essentially going through our data center. Like, they weren't actually hitting anything in the data center; they were going through it. And I found it pretty quickly, and I was like, "Hey, I think these might be what we're after." And it wasn't like excessive. It wasn't nothing. It was like way bigger than all the rest of our traffic. But the firewall should have taken it. And so my boss was like, "No, the firewalls can take that." I was like, "Okay." So I kind of shut up, and I'm sitting there, but I'm still thinking, right? I'm like, this is the only thing that's not going away, is these 4 IP addresses that are just smashing. And so, anyone here work a lot with firewalls or with network gear? Okay, so when a packet hits a firewall, what happens? Yeah, well, like first it goes through, it looks to make sure, do I have a connection already? Do I need to drop it immediately? We've got a connection established, cool. Then it says, okay, do I have a route to send it? Okay, cool. Check the access list. Is it blocked? No? Okay, cool. Or even if it is, who cares, right? Because it was blocked. The traffic was blocked. So traffic is blocked. So the firewall has gone through a couple of, so for each connection that's going through at however many packets per second, each packet comes in. So first it tries the TCP handshake, gets blocked. And then what? What would my firewall do after it's blocked? All done. Is the firewall done at that point? Not quite, because the firewall has to tell people, right? So maybe it creates an SNMP trap. Maybe it sets up a log, and it sends a log to a log server, right? So let's say that all we're doing is every time a packet comes in, it's logged and it's forwarded off to our log server. Well, that's 2, right? And then in our case, it was creating an SNMP trap. Okay, so that's 3. So now instead of X number of packets that are going through, that's okay, triple it. The solve was our firewalls are running at 99% capacity. And we black holed those 4 IP addresses, and it was fine. So it took us, I think, 4 hours. After about 45 minutes of where I finally said, "Hey, this is it." No, it's not that. Keep hacking, keep hacking, keep hacking. And then eventually I'm like, tapping my Splunk. And yeah, so the call was just, okay, can we just black hole these 4 IPs? Boom, done. So that's one of the coolest moments for me, because it was like, I didn't get any of the praise, but my boss took me out to dinner after. He was like, "Okay, that was you." So he at least admitted it, but it was cool. And it was scary because it wasn't a small company and the entire network. And the really scary part was, oh, they're gonna kill me because they think I've somehow like pulled cables. So yeah, it was scary, fun, interesting. No. And I think yeah, I just got hired because I was a contractor and then I got brought on full time. They said we can let you travel if you come on full time. So yeah, but no promotion. What's that? I don't know. He got some praise out of it. He got like the pat on the back, which was fine. But yeah, the stories about that I don't want to put on YouTube afterwards. So anyone else? Anyone got something? Anyone been through some cool stuff? Any incidents? Has anyone ever dealt with small business incidents? What's one of the problems with small businesses like the trades? Resources, yeah. So do they use 365 Defender, do you think? No. No, not even. Yeah. So I got a phone call one day and it was, Steve, I need you right now. Someone just stole a bunch of money from me. And so I went to the house or the shop and it was very interesting. So who's familiar with, like, has anyone seen, like, I know we're probably all familiar with business email compromise. Has anyone seen how it's done, like how it actually happens? Like with the sneaky, you want to explain? No? Okay. So,
Emails come in from legitimate bankers that we deal with saying, oh, we changed our banking credentials and very
Mhm.
and it leads to a bad outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, that starts with a fish. So this didn't even start with a fish. This started with a poor password selection, easy to guess. And by the time I showed up on the scene, someone had emailed clients, so they'd intercepted emails that were for money transfers. And they had said, oh, actually, so they became the vendor that said, actually, we've changed our banking. And so money was going somewhere else. And the reason how they detected it was one of their clients was like, someone said that money is supposed to go here when it's not supposed to go there. I think I'm screwed. And one of the key, I guess, like hiding factors is old folders you never look in. So we crawled through his folders and we saw that all of the email from these clients was stashed in, I think, like a LimeWire folder or something ridiculous. And so now they're on business email with proper domain and protection and stuff, I think. But yeah, it was just wild to see how simple that was and how easy to just like dupe the clients. And luckily, one of the clients was like, "That doesn't look right." And so immediately he went to passwordless and just like use authenticator only, like as a passkey. So it's crazy.
We saw a bank account, $8 was empty within a matter of minutes. And it was a bookkeeper that came onto his machine, clicked on a link, he got phished. But what it did was, in the background, it installed an extension in Chrome.
Oh no.
Which was undetectable. Like it's just basically recording your keystrokes, right? It had no definition, but they were in and out like within minutes.
That's wild.
Million. I had to go to the bank, bought the bank to get the money.
Wow.
He was like 80 years old, you know what I mean? Like at the end of his career too.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oof.
It happens fast.
It does. It does. We've seen some stuff in the past too, Jarrett. Remember that time when you well, remember when you were no, we gotta air out this dirty laundry. Remember you gave me targets and I like did like I was using Kanza and I was trying to pinpoint the targets, and it was like the target in the middle turned out to be the one, and you threw an IDS on the wire and you were like, hey, we found it. It turns out it was this one, like kind of smack in the middle of all the IPs they'd given us, and it was like hosting like a casino or something. It's crazy. Take it off. No, I'm not leaving. I
Oh,
didn't
you
come up to announce that I was leaving.
I like bugs.
This is not going well. I'm going
I was
right
like-
to Toronto.
I was like,
Stop it.
weird way to peace out, but okay.
No, I'm not leaving.
I'll take this.
Anyways, we've had a bit of an issue with the credentials of the previous lab, so we've actually created a new lab.
with those credentials. Does anybody need me to share that screen again with how to get your creds? Yeah, cool. Let me go back in here. Hi, in Seattle. We have to leave the better rescue story. Came home early for us.
It's like 5 o'clock in Seattle.
I don't know. Yeah, he's so. What is he?
You're gonna be having a word.
I don't believe him anymore. Okay, cool. So these were your credentials. Does anybody still need that? You're good. Grab a peer if you don't have it. They'll help you out. This is what you need in terms of access. So we now have access to cloud@semble.com at the bottom. CTFD. Has anybody not created an account yet? Hopefully you have by now. Okay, cool. So we'll get started. What I'll do is I'll open up the first challenge. Give me 1 second. So some of you guys somehow figured out what it was before. So all of those submissions that were, don't worry, nobody was able to actually answer the answers, but so it'll be tenable_HIP is the first flag. This officially starts the CTF. And for those of you who didn't know, it has a 90 at the end. Yes, please.
We just realized that in the chart of the credentials,
Yep.
there's the lines have numbers, but also the
Am I hip score or
like is John 8 hip 8 is John?
Oh, okay. Who used the column delimiter as your number? Okay, one person. Perfect. Raise your hand high if you use the column delimiter. Okay, we're fine because relimiting won't hit you, so you'll be fine. Yeah, it was meant to be like the first column, second column, those numbers. It really doesn't matter. If you get logged out, use the number after 25, 26, or whatever, and you'll be fine. Cool? You're good. You got your creds. You're set up. Yeah. Cool. So the flow, as you navigate through this, is you have your CTFD login. As you navigate through that, you'll have your challenges. You've now entered your first challenge, unlock to unlock challenges. That was tenable_HIP 90. I'm really curious. Those of you who figured out it was HIP, how did you figure that out? Yes. Thank you. I was hoping if you in some events you do that and it works, but anyways, it's great. Cool. So we have a few challenges here that you can follow. They're not sequential. Go back to the slides here. Challenges are not sequential. There are 4 attempts per person unless deleted otherwise. Flags are not case sensitive, so you'll find to enter any format that you want from that. Where we do have a flag format available to you, so as you enter it, keep in mind the flag format. If you feel like you've been unjustly, we took out one of your options, reach out, raise your hand. Steve as well has access, so if you're a friend of Steve, he might be able to help you out. I'm just kidding, he was told to be impartial. Yeah, if you are stuck, raise your hand, we'll help you out. The clock starts, so we just did that with the questions. There are 2 CTFs, we'll do the first one for EM. The goal is, the intent, we'll see how the night goes out. The intent is we'll give you the CTF the way it is right now in where you're accessing it. There are questions, you find the answer in cloud@temple.com. That's where you navigate to get the answer. The goal is we'll pause at the 45-minute mark. I don't know who's keeping track of time. All right, so 8 o'clock. At 8:45, we'll gauge time, but we'll pause it, we'll declare winners, but then we'll give you the lab guide. The lab guide has step-by-step instructions for each of the questions. So don't be afraid if you're stuck. If you want us to reopen some of your questions, we can do that at that point. I want to make a quick comment for B-Sides, the B-Sides crew. Any other rules apply that I didn't mention? Obviously, have fun, teamwork is encouraged, but.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah?
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, please get started. Let's go. So you already have your access. Does anybody not have access? Anybody not know where to go? Steve, do you mind helping out? The hand in the back? Yeah, please. We're starting with EM, exposure management first. Yeah, focus on that. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so what I'm doing, you don't have to watch me if you're good to go, but if I'm you, right, I have cloudtemple.com open. I'm going through my first question. Let me pop up CTFD here. My first challenge. You can pick whichever one you want. We'll pick the first one here as an example. Again, if you're comfortable, don't listen to me. I just want to make sure whoever is not there yet. You have your scenario. CEO's asking some questions. Walked into the office. Hey, how exposed are we compared to our peers? You're looking for a single data-backed comparison right now. We got a bit of a demo from Steve, for vulnerability intelligence. This CTF is focused on exposure management. Hint, hint, in the workspace, exposure management is there. Navigate to the global exposure view are some hints that we're giving you in terms of short instructions. Identify your cyber exposure score. That is your aggregate score between business contexts and each known threats from each asset that you have. And then there's a specific date given to you compared to the current industry peer score. So look for industry peer score. You can see the flag format. You would simply enter a number, 1, 2, 3, / whatever the peer score is, 3, 4, 5. Make sense? Okay. Do you guys play music when you do this? I don't want to distract anybody, but. All right, let me ask. We'll see. Cool. Yeah, please raise your hand if you're stuck, okay? Yes.
Are we gonna be able to do it?
Yeah. Let's get started with it.
I'm not streaming.
Yeah.
Screen now.
Yeah, you can.
I'll wait until you come.
Yeah, so I can hop back and forth on a leaderboard, see if anybody's. So we have a few. Actually, I saw a few users of you have logged in. This is great. Well, most of you have logged in. Scoreboard yet is currently 0 based on. We just open up the flags. But yeah, here's our leaderboard. We'll show the top 20 in the first spot here, with our top 10 users on the top.
You guys put music. You guys quiet, whatever you prefer.
Music. I don't think we're gonna do it.
Right.
Okay, do you have your own playlist? No? Yeah. As long as it's not JF music, we're fine. None of the go-go stuff on the other side of the
Yeah, I would listen to that. I would put that there.
No, it's just
People put hockey music at
it should be intense.
I was learning. I think it's all things on.
Yeah. Something about a canoe in the sky.
No, you know what that? SKDY?
Yes.
Salt candy? Yeah.
STDI train.
Yeah.
So quick time check too, it's 8:33. At 8:45, we will pause briefly, provide some awards for the winners. We will then kick off the Cloud Security CTF and provide lab guides for both. You'll have the chance to do both as well. Refresh the page. All right, here we go. What are we looking like? Moving up. Who is going to claim the Lego prize? Let's go.
Awesome. Give yourself a round of applause, everybody. Woo! Okay, so here, I'm going to refresh this one last time. Here is our leaderboard. ACS or ACS, do you want to come up? Get your award as the 901, the top winner by two questions. Nice. Yo, Steve, where's my award hander guy? Sorry. All right, we got a Lego prize for you.
Lego prize.
Holy smokes. Oh, you don't have to take it. Who wants to take a picture?
I want to take a picture.
Yeah? You both can take a picture?
Yeah, of course. We have the Lego prize.
Okay, don't worry, we have more prizes. We'll start with
I like the,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like the trophy in the NHL, you get to hold on to the trophy. then you gotta give
You
it
see
back.
this decent in the back? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Yeah?
There we go. Perfect.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. Give it a. Actually, do you want to talk about some of the stuff?
Are we doing this? How do we have?
No. We figured out that. All right. So we're gonna go through now. We'll pick number 2, and then we'll do some random numbers as well after that for the rest of the prize. You can come up and grab one of the items that is interesting to you up here. Let me put up my. So who is L38 APK? Woo! Come up here. Oh, grab your socks. Steve, where's my award hander guy? All right, let's go quickly here. We have random numbers that we generated to Claude. Is it random? We'll never know. 14. 14th place. Crypto Knight, come up and grab a prize. Socks in here. Al Med, come up and grab a prize. I'm just grabbing numbers, man. Yeah, please. We're doing after 1 and 2. We're doing a random digits that we pull out for some prizes. All right, so we did 19. Kaiser 243, come up and grab a prize. Prize?
Yeah.
All right, let me know when you're running up.
Yeah.
S, congratulations. Come and grab your prize. 22. KA, come and grab your prize. That was 21. Abbas Ali, come and grab a prize.
Okay, so.
Yep, you're good.
Socks are.
Number 1 against your gun. Number 11, Liganisa. Come grab a prize. All right, what do we have left? 2. All right, we have 3 prizes left. This is 18. Altair, come and grab a prize. Altair, and then there was Murd4Bit. Murd4Bit. It's actually you. Yeah, I love it. And then the last one is DJ. Thank you for the music. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do now is just show up something on the screen. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this win. Give me 1 second. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to unlock the CTF. Let me just do this real quick. And then if you want to keep going, you're free to keep going. Give me 1 second here. All right, so the CTF is now unlocked. Right now, I'm going to show you a couple things. I've updated the first instructions that we had with a couple things. One is there is now a new CTF open. We're leaving this one open for you to play now. We're going to hand out also the log guide directly with it. So if you navigate to this new link, CTF Can, you can register for this cloud security CTF using a rolled blue and teal branding. Set password is the same. The unlock challenge, I'm going to give it to actually, let me just put it up right now in the, everybody can see. sorry. We're good here. All right, so we have our new unlock challenge for the second CTF. We have our lab guide available to us. Same pin as the previous lab guide that we had. I'll put it up if anybody needs it again. And then when I sit down, I'm also going to add the lab guide to the same repository that you grabbed your credentials from. So look for that. Effectively, you'll have access to finish the CTF in 48 hours if you want to with the lab guide, instructions, step-by-step instructions, navigate through it. And then the new one as well will be for a classic CTF. Yes? You have a question? Oh, sorry, I thought you had a question. You had to handle it. Yeah. And then just so we all have it, I'm just going to grab the credits here and put them up so we have them ready. All right, let me just put this right here for everybody to see. There we go. So, in the spirit of B-sides, we thought for the next step here will be cool. You can keep going through the CTF, navigate through the new CTF, or if anybody wants to practice their skills in presentation, come up here, talk about what they did. Looking at you, number one. Go through some of their maybe challenges that they did. What I'll do is I'll open up the challenge here, and then you can have it just because of the tooling that we have. You have to use this Mac and stuff here. And then you can navigate through 2 tabs and utilize the platform. Does that sound fun? Do we have any volunteers to come up? Yeah, you want to come? All right. We're going to pause the music and then we're going to get you to start here. So John, Hip, want to come over here? So they're going to. Sure. Yep. So we have our first volunteers coming up. Give a round of applause to Red Shirt. Yeah. Yeah. So how about you come up here, introduce yourself, say where you're at, and then walk through 1 or 2 challenges that you did, something interesting that you did. You'll have to use this laptop though. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll make it easy for you.
That's all right if I share the screen?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I need to figure out how to make it easier for him to see his screen. Can you pull it up here? This guy. So it's only 2 tabs, makes it easier to see. Let's remove your bookmark here. So you got the slot here. You can go through the challenges that you did. You'll have the questions there if you want to go, and then you can come up to the second tab and navigate through some answers. Cool. All right.
What am I supposed to do again?
I like that you volunteered before you knew what you're getting into. So you want to go through some challenges that you did, talk about maybe something that you solved, see how maybe useful it was, something you learned. Love to hear it from your perspective.
Oh God. Okay, sure.
Okay. Can I be heard on this mic? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Where do I? Oh, okay.
This one? Yeah. Can you say your name and all that stuff?
Yeah, sure. My name is Anish, and I am going to present a challenge. This is very heart-throbbing, actually. Okay. I do the cloud risk assessment one because that one was the most confusing one for me. So this one is asking to provide the most critical weakness on a cloud asset that has the highest AES, which I don't know in this context what AES stands for. I thought asset exposure score. So I'm gonna have to remember what I did for this one, but I think what I went here is for this section, exposure management, because this is the exposure management CTF. And since the category was inventory, I thought to find which one had the inventory on it. So going into inventory, and then I have to find which one had the AES. So cloud security is the one with the cloud assets. And this one, there's an AES column right here. This was the one with the highest, which was web app EC2 instance. So I would look at the detail in, I would look at the detail in this asset. Go to weaknesses. And so I'm thinking, okay, what's the most dangerous one? So I would filter by severity. And I originally thought that this was going to be the one because, oh, hey, 9.5, and it looked like it filtered through. I went and typed it in. That was actually not the correct one. So then I went through VPR, which is, I think, vulnerability priority rating. And you'd think that the top score would actually be the first one, but no, this one has more impacted assets. So if I see the details on that, then I can find the weakness ID, copy that, and I believe this was the correct flag. And then I think that is not the one. But then pop that on here, and then you get the flag.
Nice, good job, man. Awesome, thank you so much.
We'll call somebody else to come.
Anybody else wants to give it a shot? Number 2, he almost wants to, but not really. Number 3, you. Yes, you seem like you won first prize. Show us how you use Excel. It's the AI. He did not use the AI. Perfect. Come.
Also, get ready. The third
you're
person
gonna
will be the
use
person who is currently wearing a tenable hat.
Well, yeah, but there's no way. Yeah, so you gotta present what you do as well. For the people who haven't.
Which one should I go for?
Yeah. Okay, choose one.
Choose any of them?
Which one you remember that you've done fast and
Yeah, just present you if you don't mind.
Sorry? Oh, I am Kevin, and I'm just a student with the CST program at Algonquin right now.
Well, that's good. If you finish first and then you're a student at the same time, Kevin's great.
Yeah, thank you.
So which one do you want to take?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Yeah, that's best.
The first one? All right, sure. CEO just walked into your office with a question from the board meeting. How exposed are we compared to our peers? Need a single data back comparison right now. So I guess right now means February 1st, 2026. Which means let's just go back to I'm gonna look for exposure management or analytics because the subtitle here is analytics. Maybe I guess here it's probably a good idea. Start off. And I come here and I see saying
Exposure view.
yeah. But it just so happens that this looks kind of like what I want to find.
Correct.
But I just went and input these numbers and like, I gotta do it quick, I gotta be first.
Where
Yeah.
do you find the industry?
The industry is here.
Yeah, you got one.
Yeah. And the total population is here. I tried this one first, but like, I had 4 chances, so why not, right?
That's it.
So I tried this combo. I'm like, oh, I should look more closely. And
To find a date.
yeah, the date, yeah. So we scroll down actually, and maybe there's something good. And of course, there is something good here.
Yeah. Select
Yeah.
time period.
So February 1st, like a year ago, 6 months ago, come here, scroll around, let's find Feb 1st, just almost at the edge, 380 over 332, 338.
So drop it in.
Okay, so let's get it.
380.
Okay, perfect.
That's it. Good job, man. I appreciate it.
You want to do another one?
One you found the most complicated.
I didn't, I mean, these attack paths, I did not solve them. Yeah, the middle one was like somehow really easy. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but okay, it basically tells you what to do. So Look.
Yeah, that's it.
Go to attack path analysis. We go there, right? Top attack techniques. Sure, why not? Attack techniques. And top one. There's one. I mean, this is also on like the WASP top 10 this year, right?
It is.
Yeah. So this is probably the correct one. So I just typed that in, and it just happened to be. Yeah. Let's just put that in.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh, no, that's just how it is.
That's it. So
Yeah.
guys, slam it. Good
But like,
job, man.
these are tough.
It is.
I'm not like familiar with the filtering, and there's a lot of like tools to provided to you, right?
You want me to try to do that one?
You can take over.
Which one's the one that you didn't install? This one?
Either one. Like this one's supposed to be easier, it seems, because there's less like filtering involved. But
yeah. This one, I think we were talking about tonight, right? So when you go to attack path, yeah, let's pull this over.
Yeah, have both.
Yeah, here we go. Is it good? All right, so you go to attack path, you pull attack path query builder. Again, if you download the lab guide, you'll have step-by-step instructions to navigate through this. But this is the key part, I think, that most of you that I walked through were struggling with, which is, are you looking at blast like a standard query that you just build out on your own, depending on what you have? And you could navigate through this too. But for us, the easiest way to do this is to show the attack path towards an asset. This is an asset that we know of from all other assets. So we'll put the asset exposure. This will give us a new filter. It'll pre-populate from all assets too. And then our target was domain admin. So we'll put this one here. Who was it that was doing this a few seconds ago? Did you solve it? Somebody was, yeah, did you solve it? No, okay. Let's pull this out. We'll do our query here. We have something else in our query, so we'll pull that off after. So we have here, I believe it's this actual one here. It's from all Win 10 dev, but let's double check here. Assets, the flags asset of a user that can be leveraged with an asset. So let's pull this again here. I want to remove, I don't know why the chain prevented came in here. Maybe it was one of the filters that was added here. But let's try this out. Are we looking at all Win dev or not? I want to copy this thing here. So we're not looking at all Win dev. 3 solves. IdleS, Almed. How did you solve this? You want to come up and show it to us? Yeah? Let's pull it up here. Did you change your query in any way? Actually, it pulled off my query because I went back here. So let's do it with domain admin. I think that's what happened when I pulled it out, because I pulled that query. So let's do domain admin. Oops. Let's see.
More Alvin 10.
All right, because we got 2 filters here. We have a search and a reply. Let's give it a second here. Still all Win dev showing up here.
It's like getting all 2008.
All right, let's pull this up here. Let's pull up our handy dandy lab guide that I hid in the back pocket here. Where is it sitting? Cloud security. All right, our buddy here has it up here. Exposure management, AutoS, CTF. Should be this guy here. CTF lab guide. This is question. Do you remember the question number? No. Let's pull it up here. Exposure view, analytics, attack path. Yeah, it was this one here. All path targeting, highest. So we're looking for the highest available based on priority path, attack path priority rating. Let's hop back into our CTF. Where do we go through? We have so many windows here. Yo, John, where are you sitting? John Hip. Pull back your main screen. Here we go. Boom. All right. So highest criticality rating. Let's see if you can buy priority. Priority and there we go.
Oh, I see. I was trying to put it over here, but there's like 2 different filters.
Oh, I think it pulled out my my attack path query too now. Well, we'll give it one more second, then we'll move on to the next one. If I hop back into, I just don't want to. There's too many windows here. There we go. If I put right over here. I want to quickly see the answer sheet that we have handily available to us. Actually, no, let's just go back. Do the load. No, it's still all dev. All right, cool. Let's move away from this one. Let's pull this one here. The most travel. That was another one you didn't solve, right?
I didn't know how to do. Oh, never mind. This was not the one.
No?
I didn't do this one either, but I was thinking. Can you go back to?
Yep.
It's this one. This one has like a lot of not filters. I didn't know how to apply a not to a giant group. I don't want to click all of them because I think your API queries everything when you change the filter once.
Yeah. So this is maybe a shout out for the lab guide once you pull it. But if I pull over my exposure management lab guide, for that one, we actually put the query in there for you to make it simpler. So you don't have to pull it yourself. Let's double check which one we're dealing with. Do you remember what the name was? It was the last one, right?
Two more.
Two more. This one. Actually, I think it was a. Yeah, here. So we actually put the query in there for you, so you don't have to guess. We'll pull it up here. Asset query has asset. Ooh. You did domain admin target Carlos, which is the answer. Asset exposure graph. Asset exposure. Oh, assets. Yeah. Yeah. Query it, clean it. Oh, I get what's happening. It's because we had two other filters for accept. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, so if we hop back into our third time back into our window, let's pull it up here. We'll clear away the other filters that we had around done and accept, and then critical. And that should be asset, blast radius, domain admin. He's got the inverted scroll. It's throwing me off. All right, let's do a search here. And I think we should be golden. Boom. So our answer was Carlos. Pull that over here, pull that back into our killer. There we go. So for anybody who was on Silent Killer, thank you so much. A shout out to dual screen over there.
Don't challenge him. He has triple screen.
I've made you stand here too long. Do you want to do another one or? Yeah.
Yeah, you should stay up there and do a whole bunch.
Yeah, please.
Can you just let people know that I'm going to be packing up t-shirts? So if you
Cool.
want free t-shirts, to go grab them now.
Free t-shirts are still available for you, but not for long. Green hat's walking to the shirts. When he reaches them, the hats are gone. Run. All right, want to do one more? Yeah, please. Oh, actually, you want to see less solves? Go to here, go to here. These are our less solved. So we just fixed that one. You could go to Kev, Watcher. You can see which ones you did finish.
Kev Watcher is pretty simple. You just follow what it does, right? So this is like
Cool. All right, you guys speak in the mic though. Keep everybody awake. So I think I figured it out too. I was clicking apply, not search, and every time you click apply, it kills the what?
Yeah. If you run this again, sometimes it'll actually change and actually give you domain admin accounts. It's really funny. It's like
So
super jank.
I put 3.
cards. We want the public facing assets with critical CISO cap. Right.
I moved it for now, but at least.
There it is.
Can you put that back? Just on the color, or I can do it for you. Thank you very much.
So we found the thing, but I forgot what to do. Open the detail view to identify the associated query. Use to monitor these assets. All right, so show details. Okay, well, I don't think, oh, this is what we want. Yeah, this one. So we're just gonna hit copy and just paste it back in. And we should be good. Very nice.
That's it.
Yep.
Great job, man. Thank
You
you.
want to say that it's going to be available a lot for longer? And you want to mention that? Yeah. There's lots of people trying to know.
So everyone, the labs that you've seen and experienced today, they will be available till tomorrow as well. So you can take your time, log in on your home and experience more. You have the lab guide.
This is it. This is it. Right there.
The lab guide is right here, guys. Take a photo of it.
There's two of them.
You have the cloud security one as well. You can go and run. Yeah. So definitely take advantage of just the access to the platform. Thank you so much again for everybody who had fortitude to wait with us through the challenges of demo environments. Picked up the CTF. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And I was also all my attempts. Yeah. Okay. I'll make it. I know where to go.
Thank you. I'll leave this here until, but don't forget this one is very important. So.
Say again?
See, I said I'm going to leave my laptop for 5 more minutes. Anything
Oh, I didn't have a bad back. I got a surgery for my knee.
but I was still a pain.
To me, it was cold, but I think a back is different. My knee, I was able to lift it.
Yeah,
just
mine is
for a
sharp.
bit, and I had something to compress, cold compress, like basically, what's it called again?
It's a compressed, right?
Well, it's a compressed, but a cooler. There you go. A cooler. Put ice in it. Put water, and there's a tube that goes right here, and then you just lift it when the pressure goes. It's lots of pressure, but it's super high cold. It was relieving. It was phenomenal. But I don't think there's something like that for that.
Oh no!
For that. But putting the ice, I don't know if it would work. But then if you rest on your back, it might not be the proper position. It might be different. So that's why I think it's on the different.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, there's one again. Finally. Oh yeah, why?
Yeah, I used to see you in Discord, online.
Oh, you're on Discord? What's your name?
Leslie.
Oh yeah. I've seen you. That's
I
right.
contacted you on LinkedIn one time.
Okay, that's possible. Sorry if I'm not super quick to respond to that, but
Yeah, but you really respond.
okay. Perfect. Okay. Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're trying to do these as much as possible, and then just stay tuned. I have a course that's coming up. I'm not really doing more whenever this one is more like on the purple side. So building your own lab and having your conductor into your lab, and then after that collecting the logs and being able to get everything in your system.
What about the wall? Yeah, the product that you showcased like a long time ago. Will it go to come like that big?
The AI?
Yeah.
The AI?
You had a product like that. That makes the model.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about what's it called? Oh, I did present a couple times. I did present.
Is it possible, like,
but it don't
come in walls or?
But we did, CIS 2024 at 2026. I presented there. I did present it to other location, but they don't want to have it online directly displayed to everybody, like on YouTube and the like.
So if I search for CES 2024,
it's not there. It's not going to be on YouTube. So I'm not able to demo it online. That's the thing. There's proprietary stuff. They don't want to have it in like online distributed to everyone. You know what I mean?
okay, can I contact you on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Contact me on LinkedIn. We can have more of a chat if you want to. Sure. I can tell you a bit more, but it depends what you want to do with it. But either way, contact them or Discord. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you for coming. And you heard that you still have access to the CTF? Perfect. All right, sounds good. Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good one. Tu finis ton écran de téléphone ou
Yeah, the actual content's pretty cool, but it's targeted to yeah, and if you're not, that's what I'm saying.